I think AI can be added to your creative process. I add it to my creative process. I ask it to like sometimes further my thoughts in 5 different ways. So I could kind of choose which way I want to take it, for instance.
And okay, so let's talk about that. How does that make you feel? Because like sometimes I feel kind of lazy. Like, man, I know there's a good point here, but let me just ask the AI to give me 5 different branches to walk down.
Yeah, I think it's so this brings me to my tweet that I said today, and it's like the integration of AI into society without sufficiently educating the public how to use it to enhance their skill sets will just lead to them outsourcing their skill sets, making that population very dumb in the process. Think idiocracy. And I guess it really depends on how you use AI. Like a lot of people are just going to outsource their thinking and their creative capacity to AI. Like, hey, write me this email, and just they have no real input in it whatsoever. Or write me this short story with no creative input. The other way is that I think that we are limited in our capacity. We have like only so much energy and brain power that we can utilize. But with the help of AI, we can really extend that outwards and increase our productivity by maybe an order of magnitude, right? By helping it having it act as a muse, for instance, and sometimes asking it for different perspectives. It basically becomes a really highly intelligent like buddy that you can just have a conversation with and have it, reply with really smart feedback. And I'm struggling to see where that doesn't enhance your abilities.
It enhances it once again when you're choosing to use it as a tool instead of delegating all your autonomy to it. So the example I want to use is I think it's really healthy for us humans to do what they call deep work or maker hours or a deep creative session where you have 3 to 4 hours and you're just working on, maybe it's shorter than that, but you're just extremely focused on something. And once again, like as they say, that leads to a flow state. But like get extremely focused on something without distractions, and your brain, your soul, your mind, whatever you want to call it, will take you places. Your creativity, your connection to that divine creativity will take you places that you wouldn't go normally. And the machine, the AI, doesn't have that. So when we are using the AI for help, which once again, I do it too, I'm not saying, but there's a certain function of creativity that we're almost bypassing, and we're not going to get as deep. It's not going to be as effective. It's not going to be as healing that as when we're just using the AI to get to somewhere because we want to produce something. We want to have an end result. We want to put out as marketing content, etc.
Well, so maybe you can make you can distinguish, how you're using AI, right? And you can still have those working sessions. For instance, by me using AI, I thought about this the other day. I think I've become more intelligent by me using AI, because now when I sit down and I actually write, like the way I piece together and thread together ideas is a lot more efficient than as before. And that's because I've been interacting with the AI. And in a sense, working with the AI has been also training my mind to think more efficiently. Does that make sense?
Definitely. But something I came across today when I was like, okay, hold up on all this stuff, chip in the brain, whatever. A lot of my fundamental beliefs about life come from what we're talking about. Like my body is a divine connection to God, to everything greater than myself. And I want to be in touch with that. I spend a couple hours every morning, like making sure I'm in touch with my body so I can feel in tune with the universe the rest of the day. And so I was like trying to put that into words. I'm like, I'll just get the AI. The AI doesn't get it. The AI can't help me with those ideas. And so it forces me to do it, which is great, right? But I'm also not writing about that all the time.
The AI does get it. I mean, it gets it from everyone else who's had that experience and has written about it, right?
Maybe, but how far can words go? Language isn't language is a representation or a simulacrum of reality. It's not an accurate reflection of reality.
Well, let's just say that AI got conversational, right? I don't think it's going to be able to connect with you on that level, but it could use other people's experiences to mimic that connection.
Right. And once again, this goes into the core. These are called language models, like language learning models, right? Large language learning models, like language. Language is not reality.
Yeah.
Language is how we communicate very abstract things together as humans. So that means we're leaving this machine AI intelligence in that sphere of language when we as humans, I can go touch my wife. We could make love. That is a completely different language than words.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting point to touch on.
I mean, I haven't thought about it, so I don't have much to say, but like, it's just, I think that what makes us human: emotions, feelings, intuition, things that are not explained by formulas or anything that we can really standardize.
So will we naturally retain and maintain these human practices, emotions, and all this as this transition, this new age of uncertainty comes in? Or are we slowly going to detach from them and outsource those experiences to AI instead?
I mean, I don't think we're going to outsource those experiences, but I think that as we merge more and more with machine, those experiences are going to become severed and we are going to become less human in the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But what makes us less human exactly? What are the characteristics of that?
Well, I think the interaction with, I don't know, let's see how far this goes, right? You're talking about brain chips, and then you're talking about mRNA vaccines and nanobots and so forth. It gets real sci-fi. Like basically you have all these, sensors and nanotechnology in the body along with a brain chip and so forth. Like, doesn't that sever the communication pathways between your body and your mind in a significant way that, there's a threshold where you can no longer say you're really human. You're more machine,
We don't know either.
Yeah.
Like the first thing I think about putting a chip in my brain, like, what is it, Bluetooth? How much nano EMFs is that, right? Like, I don't need all that radiation in my brain. So that's the first thing I think about. But then what you just said is like, does it detach us from our, primal humanity? I don't know. I don't think we can really know.
I think it will get there. Yeah. I mean, I think just from a logical perspective, even with my like layman's mental model, I would imagine that, when I feel something and there's something that interferes with it, like with my neural pathways in a very significant way and maybe even blocks it. I mean, you think about some of these drugs that people take right now, you could even say that they're interfering with their humanity in a lot of ways. And you look at people who are on antidepressants,
Xanax, dude.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they become zombies. So imagine now technological zombies, running around.
Yeah, you could have the benzo, the Xanax, for example. I use Xanax as an example because in my experience, it just blocked me off from my body completely. I felt great, but I just had no connection to anything, no vibes. So imagine if the chip in your brain could just manufacture those chemicals too, and you have an app on your phone, you tell it like, hey, make me feel better.